Growing up, I was always a fan of that TV show MythBusters. And I think the biggest myth in IT today is this idea that SaaS data is protected by the vendor. And the reality is that if you ask the question like that, the answer is going to be yes. In fact, the SaaS vendor's data is protected. The problem is your data is not. And ultimately, that's what you care about. I would challenge any of you to go out, reach out to your top 10 SaaS vendors, send them an email and say, I deleted all the data from your SaaS application or database last week on Tuesday, and I want all of Tuesday's data back within the next 24 hours. I guarantee you that only one out of those top 10 or 20 is actually going to have the capabilities internally to be able to recover your data fast and in a manner in which you can actually implement it and use it. Because remember, backing up data is the easy part. But the ability to recover that data in a usable format, not a big giant CSV file, is ultimately what's going to make it valuable to you and allow true resiliency and business continuity in your business. One of the best ways to sort of get your head around why it is that SaaS vendors aren't protecting your data. It's not that they don't care. It's not that they don't believe in customer value or customer success. It's that every SaaS vendor and every hyperscaler all subscribe to what's called the shared responsibility model. That shared responsibility model essentially says, we will allow you to leverage our platform, but you have responsibility for your own data. Now, typically, and unfortunately, the shared responsibility model is typically buried in your contracts, but it is in there. Somewhere in your SaaS application's terms and conditions, it's going to say very clearly, it's going to say your data is your own responsibility. And until now, there has not been a singular platform that can provide you with the ability to protect that data, regardless of whether it sits on-prem, public cloud, or SaaS. And that's exactly why HYCU is here to support you, our customers. A lot of folks ask me, they'll say, but Simon, there's so many SaaS services. If this was a real problem, we would have heard about it. Well, I would ask you to go and examine the Microsoft Office 365 contract. And what you'll see is that it's changed precipitously in the last couple of years. And you can search this on the internet, you can take a look at this. They've actually had to move contractually all of the stipulations around data protection, data management, and shared responsibility from page 14 to page 1 of the terms and conditions. Because so many people believe, inadvertently, they believe that their data is protected. And then when they would call on Microsoft and say, well, in fact, it's not, it becomes a real problem for customers. And that's Microsoft Office 365, the largest of these companies. But I want to give you another example, and I'm not going to name the innocent parties here. There's a very well-known billion-dollar ARR vendor out there, SaaS vendor, and they recognize this problem. Good on them. They recognize that they as a company were not going to have the bandwidth, the expertise, the time, the resources to build granular data protection for all of their customers. So they started to reach out to all of the major enterprise data protection vendors. And every single one of those vendors said, you don't have the total addressable market, which would support a business case for me to build that for you. And they were left with no option other than to offer their customers no data protection. And so again, this is not a lack of intent. It's simply that a SaaS vendor is out there building their business, and there's never been a way to encourage data protection vendors to take on SaaS vendors that don't own massive amounts of market share. It was just never the way the market responded. It was never the way things were done until now with HYCU.